Distinguished colleagues, the summary of the amendment is as follows. The 2022 Supplementary Act Amendment. Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, now 19 billion 200 million naira. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, total of 185 billion 234 100 and last page, please. Now, I'm trying. 185 billion 235 and 36 million 937,815 naira only. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Federal Capital Territory Administration, 10 billion. Those in support of this say aye. Those against say nay. They say nay. The ayes have it. Federal Ministry of Water Resources, 100 million. Those in support of this amendment say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, 500 billion. Those in support of this amendment say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. National Assembly, 70 billion. Those in support of this amendment say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. National Judicial Council, 35 billion. Those in support of this amendment say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The aggregate sum remains 819 billion 536 million 937,300 815 million. Those in support of this aggregate sum say aye. Those against say the ayes have it. I proceed to the original bill amendment of the 2022 Supplementary Appropriation Act. That amendment has been returned by the Committee of the Whole. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Supplementary Appropriation Act 2022, in this as referred to as the Principal Act, is amended as set out in this Act. Amendment of Section 1, the schedule to the Principal Act is amended by extracting the sum of 500 billion only. No. So clause 1 to form part of the bill, say aye. Those against nay, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 2. Clause 3. Explanatory memorandum. 819 billion 536 million 937,815. Carried. Distinguished colleagues, the long title of the bill should still form part of the bill as amended. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, I move that the Senate do revert back to plenary for the chairman to report progress. I so move.
Mr. President, I wish to second the motion that we resolve to plenary for chairman to report progress. I so second.
And seconded, those in support that the chairman should revert to plenary to report progress, say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. distinguished colleagues, the Senate in the Committee of Supply considered the 2022 Supplementary Appropriation Act Amendment Bill 2023 and approved as follows. Amendment of the 2022 Supplementary Appropriation Act as recommended. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Amendment of Section 1 as recommended. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Amendment of the short title as recommended. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Explanatory memorandum as recommended. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The long title of the bill, a bill for an act to authorize the issuance of the sum of 819 billion it's okay, but 819 billion 536 million 937,815 naira. Those in support. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Senate Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I move that the Senate do suspend its Rule 78(1) in order to read the bill a third time.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, I wish to second the motion that the Senate suspend its Rule 78(1). As well second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in support of the motion that the Senate do resolve to read the bill for the third time, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to authorize the issuance of the sum of 819 billion 536 million 937,815 naira only for the provisions of palliatives to Nigerians to cushion the effect of fuel subsidy removal 2023 third reading.
A bill for an act to authorize the issuance of the sum of 819 billion 536 million 937,815 naira for the provisions of palliatives and other items to Nigerians to cushion the effect of fuel subsidy removal 2023 third reading. Third reading as amended and passed. The leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the second order of the day is the consideration of the request of Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief on the approval of additional financing of the National Social Safety Net Program. Mr. President, with your permission, I wish to move the motion for the Senate to approve the request of Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief. I so move, sir.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wish to second the motion moved by Leader of the Senate. I so second.
Those in support of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Mr. President, I am Michael Okweyemi Bamidele. I represent Ekiti Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, I move that the Senate do approve the additional financing of the National Social Safety Net Program as requested by Mr. President.
Please read out the request of Mr. President. Read the totality of the amount out.
Yes. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I move again that the Senate do consider the request of Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces on the approval of additional financing facility to the tune of $800 million to be secured from the World Bank for the National Social Safety Net Program. I so move, Mr. President.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wish to second the motion moved by Leader of the Senate for the request of Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief for additional financing of the National Social Safety Network Program. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those who are in support of the request and application by Mr. President that the Senate do approve the additional financing of about $800 million to be sourced from the World Bank for the purpose of the Social Safety Net Program, say aye. Those against it say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.